Welcome, Facebook live stream viewers. I'm Paula Shaw, and you are backstage with us at Change It Up Radio. We have a very important show today. It's entitled Think Dignity, and I took that title from an organization that is doing some amazing work. And this woman by my side, Emily Howe, will be joining us in just a little bit, telling us about what her organization is doing to help the homeless in San Diego. We have a huge homeless population here, and I think most of us are misinformed about how people become homeless and why they're homeless, and there's so much great information that Emily's going to share with us about what we can do to help these people have a sense of dignity. So please stay with us. We will be talking to Emily in just a little bit. All right. Thank you, Emily. If you want to just relax over there, go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. Say hello.
Good afternoon. I'm Emily Howe. I'm managing attorney and executive director of a local nonprofit named Think Dignity. So I'm just very grateful to be here with Paula and all of you today.
Perfect.
We're looking forward to speaking a little bit about the faces of homelessness and our efforts here in San Diego.
Beautiful. Thank you, Emily. Can't wait. See you in a little bit. And we are just about ready to go.
Tired of the rut you're stuck in, but don't know what to do?
Change it up. Join life transitions therapist, speaker, and best-selling author Paula Shaw. She'll be exploring topics that make change and the challenge it presents smoother and more productive. She'll also be spotlighting change makers who are leading the charge to make the world a better place. If you're ready to live a more exciting life, at home, in the workplace, and around the world, it's time to step out of your comfort zone and change it up. Now, here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Welcome to Change It Up Radio, here with Paula Shaw. I'm delighted to have you joining me today. We have an important show to share with you today, and my guest, Emily Howe, is going to be teaching us a whole lot about the homeless. Her organization, Think Dignity, is all about trying to create a better life circumstance for homeless people and give them dignity. It's incredibly important work, and I hope you will stay with me and hear all that Emily has to share with us today. And also, those of you who follow the show know that we have been following Carson Caldwell, who is riding a bike across the United States barefoot, because he does not like shoes, barefoot to raise money for the starving children in Yemen. So Carson will also be checking in with us today, and I can't wait to find out where he is and how it's going so far in his journey. He's a young 23-year-old man, and he had a vision and a calling to try to help these starving children in the biggest humanitarian crisis that's going on the planet right now. So stay with us. And for any of you who are new, welcome to Change It Up Radio. We are all about helping people find better ways to deal with the challenges of change. And we're all about spotlighting change makers who are trying to make the world a better place. And that's exactly what we'll be doing today when we speak with Carson and Emily Howe. So, I have to tell you, when I think of the word challenge, because a lot of us don't realize how hard change can be for human beings. You know, we have this sort of love-hate, up again, down again relationship with change. I've mentioned that before, and it's so true. Because we need change, obviously, to keep interested in life and not be bored to death. But we hate the discomfort of what's unfamiliar. And yet, sometimes change is thrust upon us. I think we've all heard stories of someone who suddenly lost their job, lost their money, and had to live out of their car or live on the street. And when I think about those kinds of situations that create that kind of upheaval, the thing that I come back to is gratitude. You know, one of the things that Emily shared when I first heard her speak, Emily Howe, who will be talking to us from the organization Think Dignity, when I first heard her speak, she showed a video that contrasted what an average person's morning is like from the moment they wake up and what the morning is like for a person on the street who is homeless. And things you wouldn't even think of. I mean, how many of us, we wake up and we find our way, maybe slowly and groggily, to the bathroom because we have to pee. It's first thing in the morning. Homeless people don't have that option. And so often when they try to use restrooms at businesses or places that have them, they're barred. They're told they can't use that restroom. What do? This was something I really didn't think about very much until I saw this amazing video that she showed, just contrasting, where do you dress? How do you clean up? What do you do when life has dealt you what seems to be an incredible, awful upheaval that puts you in a life circumstance that you just don't know how to deal with? And the word gratitude comes to me because I can remember times in my life when I was so worried about my financial circumstance or my children or whatever was going on that I envisioned myself in soup lines or having to live on the street or living with my children out of my car. Of course, that was the dramatic side of me, seeing things in the worst possible way. It was never that bad. But I think a lot of us tend to do that, there's a word, but I'll just go with fantasize for right now. We project into the future. And I remember a friend of mine used to say, why is it that when we project into the future, we usually project something negative and scary? Why don't we project into the future with this great fantasy of the most ideal, wonderful circumstance that could possibly happen to us? But we don't, usually. And actually, I read somewhere that that's innately built into us, because if in the beginning of time, when life was a lot more dangerous and people had to survive in the wilderness, we had to think ahead of what might happen if I don't have a warm fur when the snow falls, or what might happen if I don't kill an animal and have food for today. So we tend to come by that naturally, and it doesn't always serve us well, because too many of us, that's all we do is project into a negative, scary future. And we know from so much that science has learned in recent times that when we project into a negative, scary future, our brain and our subconscious mind gets very busy creating a match to what we're focused on. And so it is certainly much better and much safer for us if we can project a positive outcome into that future, if we can think about all the potential great things that can happen. So when I was going through that time in my life, when things were scary financially, my husband was out of work, we had 2 children, I was just beginning my career, had just gotten out of school for the second time when I went back to get my counseling credentials. And one of the things that was the best tool I could use when I would go into scary thinking was to just think about the things I had to be grateful for. And sometimes it was as simple as a warm bed, food in the cupboard, my car runs, I had enough money to put gas in it, the rent, the mortgage, or whatever it was paid. I would just start looking for things to be grateful for. I'd take a walk in the morning and be grateful that the flowers were blooming, that the sky was blue, that the temperature was lovely that day, that there was a beautiful fragrance in the air. There really are so many things to be grateful for when we turn our focus to that. But too often we turn our focus to what we should worry about. And by the way, there's a statistic that like 98% of the things we worry about never happen. We're projecting into a future that's a future. And the only thing that's real, the only time you're alive in your life is in this moment. The rest is past or future. So in this moment, why not go for joy? Why not go for trust and hope and happiness instead of taking this moment right now when you're alive and using it to worry about something that hasn't even happened, that may never happen? So let's all make a pledge to each other today to find five things. There are probably hundreds more, but at least 5 things that you can be really grateful for today, really grateful for that are happening in your own life. For me right now, I'm so grateful that I'm doing this show and that I'm here with you and that I have the opportunity to spotlight a beautiful organization like Think Dignity. I'm grateful that I get to talk to Carson Caldwell, who is on this amazing mission, doing something the average 23-year-old does not think to do. I'm grateful that my beautiful daughter, Erin, is healthy and happy and her career is taking off in an exciting way. I'm grateful that my wonderful son, Casey, is happy and healthy and he's in LA following his dreams to pursue an acting career. I'm grateful that my parents, who are 90 and 93, are healthy and sharp and things are good. And for those of you who have been following the show and you know about the issues we were dealing with my sister and a dementia that was brought on by drugs that were just not the right ones for her, she's doing so much better. So, oh my goodness, I have so much to be grateful for. And did you notice that all those things which truly excite me and light up my heart, none of them had anything to do with money or material possessions? And how many moments, how many nows do we waste projecting into a future because we're worried about money and material possessions? I think we're all blessed. We all have so much potentially great stuff that could find its way to us. But we got to have the path open. We got to keep the doors open, and the way we do that is by staying in a high vibration. And by the way, gratitude is one of the highest vibrational states you can be in. So let's stay in gratitude today, all of us, and let's see what we can create. All right, in just a moment when we come back from this break, we're going to get to create with Carson Caldwell. Or, you know what? I just got a message that Carson is not going to be with us in the next segment. So when we come back from the break, you're going to get to meet Emily Howe, and hopefully Carson can join us shortly after that. All right, we'll be right back.
We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
Now, more than ever, it's important for women to understand why they need a financial strategy. Women tend to make less money than men, live longer, and face more financial challenges during retirement. Hi, I'm Sherry Blair. With evolving roles and increasing responsibilities, women are seeking out ways to become more knowledgeable about their finances. My life's work has been to empower women to make good financial decisions today to help ensure you have a bright future tomorrow. I'm here to help you learn more and to become more. Give me a call for your free no-obligation consultation or a second opinion at 619-997-0416. 619-997-0416. That's 619 888-997-0416.
Cherry Blair is registered with and securities are offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company. California license number 0B42369.
Hi, I'm Kelly Klein of OneTrust Home Loans, Loan Coach Kelly. A while back, my business was in a slump, and it triggered a lot of self-doubt and fear, and it even had me questioning if I'd made the right career choice. So I booked a session with Paula Shaw, and after hearing my predicament, she explained that when we get into negative, self-sabotaging thinking, and we're being run over by our limiting beliefs, it's almost impossible to create positive outcomes. She helped me clear those destructive thoughts and beliefs using her cutting-edge energy psychology techniques. Not only did I feel a whole lot better after the session, but within 2 weeks, I had 7 loans in my pipeline. I was so glad that I went to see Paula Shaw. And you should too. It really changed my perspective on life, business, and now my business is going great. You can reach her at 626-864-0756. That's 626-864-0756. 626-864-0756. Or check her out at paulashaw.com. That's paulashaw.com.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Welcome back to Change It Up Radio with Paula Shaw. I am so excited about this segment because I get to introduce you to somebody very special who is doing incredible work. So let me tell you a little bit about Emily Howe, who's about to join me. She's the executive director and managing attorney of an organization called Think Dignity, which is a local nonprofit whose mission is to inspire, empower, and organize the San Diego community to advance basic dignity for those living on the streets. Her work is focused on human rights, civil rights, and policy solutions for healthy communities. As executive director, she oversees the day-to-day management of Think Dignity, including a transitional storage center, which we can't wait to find out more about. And she's responsible for implementing the strategic plan through fundraising, advocacy, and program development. In her role as managing attorney, as if she didn't have enough to do in her first role, she oversees the legal referral and advocacy clinics, homeless youth legal and advocacy project, Know Your Rights and legal assistance programs. And she's the co-chair of the National Asian Pacific American Bar Association. I don't think there's any way this woman has time to sleep. So without any further ado, she's even got more credentials. But I don't want to spend the whole segment telling you how fabulous she is because she's got some amazing information to share. So welcome, Emily Howe. I'm so delighted to have you here.
Thank you so much, Paula, for inviting us to join you. I'm just thrilled to hear your earlier segment. I think it was probably fortuitous that we met. I love that you were talking about the attitude of gratitude and positive energy. So much of the solutions are routed in just believing that we can have a success, which I deeply believe here in San Diego, that we can address the unsheltered homeless population.
Well, I want to know, with the amazing credentials you have, and obviously you can practice in many states, what drew you to this work with the homeless in San Diego County?
So when I was a recent grad after college, I went to Benin, West Africa as a U.S. Peace Corps volunteer. And I inevitably took my LSATs there in Ghana. And so over a number of just experiences, traveling or working throughout different spheres throughout the nation, I had the opportunity to receive a scholarship here in San Diego to do my law degree. And because of my life experiences, often being underrepresented, I was motivated to be an advocate for underrepresented populations.
I see. So you didn't grow up here in San Diego?
I grew up in the Northeast, and then I traveled to the South for college, and then worked in Europe and in West Africa.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about Think Dignity. What are some of the, in your opinion, the most important things Think Dignity is doing for the homeless? And by the way, we have a huge homeless population here, don't we?
Absolutely. So San Diego is the fourth largest population of unsheltered homeless individuals in the United States.
The fourth largest. Wow.
Precisely. This number was astounding when I first heard it. So one of the primary main needs is just the basic advancement of dignity. So many times individuals just lose hope, and early in the segment you had mentioned about just being grateful. I mean, how many of us have been able to, how many of us have thought about just basic hygiene and sanitation as a need in the morning, or as a luxury, in fact. So a number of our programs include the Transitional Storage Center in East Village.
Tell us about the Transitional Storage Center. What exactly is that?
So that was one of our first programs. It's hugely successful. Most individuals don't even know it exists, but we've been able to provide hundreds of individuals safe storage of their belongings, which allows them to be able to go to doctor's visits, to go to job interviews, to pretty much live a more normal existence.
So you mean it's like a locker where they can put their things?
Yes, we have lockers and also different bins for about 400. Unfortunately, we're at max capacity, but it's always a huge joy to go down there just because our staff is just so welcoming and inviting.
And one of the things I remember seeing in the video was a homeless man sitting in a chair getting his hair cut. Do you have like hairstylists or barbers or people who volunteer and do that work for you, or do you have somebody on staff? How does that work?
So Think Dignity has a number of different programs that are mobile, that travels throughout San Diego County. We travel to Vista, to Oceanside, Chula Vista. We're in central San Diego. So we're a very small and mighty team that is able to provide a number of opportunities in both direct services, hands-on advocacy, and legal assistance. Some of those programs include our Homeless Youth Legal and Advocacy Project, our legal referrals. We have a survival distribution this Sunday where we're distributing water, blankets, basic survival essentials to our unsheltered neighbors.
Wow. So this is amazing work you're doing, and it's huge. I mean, really huge. What's your staff size? I mean, who does all this? Is it totally volunteers, or do you have regular staff that are on salary?
So Think Dignity has 9 staff members, and we started out, our heart of the organization was just individuals who had a heart for this work. There was a number of powerhouse women attorneys downtown who said there must be something that we can do that's more sustainable and that can have a greater impact for our homeless population here in San Diego. So through that, we've had a number of successes. Initially, we started our Basic Dignity Coalition, which meets once a month, the first Thursday of the month. And initially we won the Portland Loos downtown, and unfortunately those were removed, and we ended up with a hepatitis A outbreak here in San Diego. So the heart of the organization is very much just incredible men and women, and just San Diegans harnessing that energy to find sustainable solutions.
So a lot of people think the homeless are mentally ill, or they're drug addicts, or, whatever. What is the real story? Who becomes homeless?
I was amazed at the breadth and depth of diversity. There are just so many stories and backgrounds. A number of individuals grew up here as residents of San Diego, but the reality on the ground is that the housing and basic lodging has become so expensive for all levels of income. So those who are unsheltered, so many that we see are an invisible population. For instance, many of our guests and clients are sleeping in their vehicles. They're young women who might be escaping a domestic violence situation. It might be somebody who is experiencing a divorce, a senior citizen who has a health problem. So the faces are very diverse here in San Diego. So there are all too many myths, and those myths sometimes hinder our ability to address the root causes of what's occurring here.
I would think so. I think because a lot of people are even a little bit afraid of homeless. You know, they maybe they're not well dressed, they're dirty or whatever, and people, I think, have their preconceived ideas that, well, they're crazy or they may be dangerous or that sort of thing. But what's your experience with the homeless people you all serve?
One of our greatest successes was recently here at the downtown library on April 2nd of this year. We had a Spring into a New You Career and Resource Fair, and that was one of the most incredible opportunities I've participated in. We were able to get about 400 individuals access to basic hygiene, to interviews with employers. We were able to provide our street boutique and street cafe there, and it was such an enormous success that there were just hugs all around, smiles. It was just incredible seeing the transformation of individuals. And so at Think Dignity, we've been very grateful and fortunate to have been able to hire individuals with lived experiences. And so some of our staff have been, those have been some of our best staff members over the years.
People
and
who
most
were
dedicated.
at one point homeless?
Yes,
wow,
precisely.
Really?
And so those on the ground who've lived the experience have the best expertise about what's going on, and we deeply believe that those who are the experts and those who know what's going on with those lived experiences should be at the table. And
vehicles in which these people can shower and clean up. And so when we come back, let's talk a little bit about that, because I'm sure that's one of the biggest problems for people living on the street. So in just a moment, we will be right back to hear more from Emily Howe and Think Dignity.
We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
Hi, Paula Shaw here. I'm so delighted to share with you that LifeWave has become our newest sponsor on Change It Up Radio. My family and I all use their tiny wearable patch technology, and the results are life-changing. My sister had lupus for over 20 years and has never slept well. Now she does. My mom's frozen shoulders simply went away. My favorite is the age-reversing X39, a patch engineered to activate stem cells. Yeah, it's true. They really work to improve how you look, feel, perform, and heal. LifeWave patches use a patented form of phototherapy, using frequencies of light to safely boost health and wellness at the cellular level with no drugs. Learn more online by visiting lifewave.com. That's lifewave.com.
My business has lost its upward momentum. I'm working up to 14 hours a day, but my sales seem to have plateaued. I'm so overwhelmed.
I used to have that same problem, but ever since I found the Balanced Millionaire Consulting Firm, our sales and profits have risen sharply. Even our staff is more engaged, and the atmosphere is full of energy.
I have no time to work on my business to develop new sales and marketing strategies. I would love to expand, have strategic partnerships, and access to financing.
You can do all of that and more. The Balanced Millionaire Consulting Team advises you on streamlining your operations, establishing alliances, and most importantly, increasing your revenues and profits.
Let us help you build value and reduce stress in your business. Take charge. Don't let your business control your life. Visit thebalancedmillionaire.com or call 442-224-0160 for a free consultation. That's 442-224-0160 or thebalancedmillionaire.com.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Welcome back to Change It Up Radio with Paula Shaw. I am in studio today with Emily Howe of Think Dignity, an organization that is doing some beautiful work to help people who are homeless to have a sense of dignity. In our last segment, we were talking about storage lockers that they're providing so these people can have some belongings that they can put away and that can be safe, that they don't have to have with them and be fearful about having on the street where they might be stolen. So, Emily, and before we start that, I just want to take a moment to mention that our show is being brought to you by LifeWave, who are leaders in the field of activating stem cell production. I'm so excited about our sponsors, and I just wanted to mention that before I get back into Emily, because I've been so excited about Emily and this work that she's doing today that I forgot to mention these amazing sponsors who create patches that I use in my life every single day that have no drugs and chemicals and that help the body to do specific things like getting rid of pain, increasing energy, activating stem cells. So be sure you look into LifeWave. All right, now, Emily, the next thing I'm excited about, I saw in the video that you have this portable vehicle that provides showering facilities for the people on the street. Is that right?
Yes, we have a program called Mobile Operations of Dignity, which includes our Fresh Start Showers program, our street boutique, and our street cafe.
Okay, what's the street boutique? Let's talk about it all.
So the street boutique provides feminine hygiene products, undergarments for women. It's a basic need that so many of us forget about, but that is so important to one's self-esteem and sense of dignity.
Absolutely. And the street cafe, what's that?
So the street cafe travels throughout central San Diego to provide nutritious foods. We realize that through our work with clients that a number of folks say that sometimes they get leftover food here and there, and it's so important to have a healthy, nutritious meal in order to get back on one's feet.
And stay healthy.
And to stay healthy, precisely.
And did you say this program is moving throughout the city, or is it one place where people come?
So our programs are mobile and go to different sites. So we have a number of partner organizations. We're currently at a shower program today. We have an incredible team that's very dedicated and has really built trust with a number of our clients.
So I'm inclined right now, because I know listeners are probably going, oh, I would love to help do something like that. I'd love to, besides donating, and I want to get the number where people can call to donate or the website, but do you take volunteers? I mean, if there are people listening to this show who would love to do something to help the homeless, is that possible?
We love volunteers. Some of our best and most steadfast members of the organization have started out as volunteers. So certainly please call in if you have an interest. Everyone has an area of expertise. We're always looking for, comms or different levels of expertise, or even if somebody wants to just come in and volunteer at a shower, we can coordinate that as well.
Beautiful. And if somebody's interested, let's go ahead and give them the number. Where do they call, or what website do they go to?
So please go to our Facebook page or our website, which is www.thinkdignity.org. So Think Dignity is...
thinkdignity.org. Okay. And is there a phone number that you want to give?
And the phone number is 619-537-8736. Again, that's 619-537-8736.
Okay. So, Emily, you're an attorney, and one wouldn't necessarily think that the homeless would need an attorney or an attorney maybe running the organization for sure. But you guys do work with legal and advocacy, correct? So tell us about that.
Yes, it was so interesting that you were telling your audience to write down 5 goals over the years. And in a moment when I was struggling, I wrote down 5 different goals that I had. And one was to advance social justice, and 2 was to find a dream job. And this almost seems like a purpose-driven fit. where I'm able to blend my legal assistance background and the needs of our in order to address the needs of our population. So a number of times individuals simply don't know where to go, or in terms of resource navigation, and a huge barrier to getting back onto one's feet is often local ordinances that make it more difficult. People end up getting part of the criminal justice system, and there are so many tickets that are de facto given to the homeless population for life-sustaining activities.
So, for example, I mean, let's just make this real clear. Like urinating in public is how do you say? It's not okay, right? You can get a citation.
You can get a citation. It can be a misdemeanor or beyond. So individuals end up getting a criminal record for that. But if there's simply no place to go, it's a basic need. And other examples are possibly having your belongings on the street, eating in certain public places, sleeping on the sidewalk.
Right.
There was a recent ordinance that was just reenacted that's very broad that prohibits somebody from sleeping in their vehicle.
Oh, really? Now, I know somebody who's actually very successful right now, but there was a period in her life when she was, I think maybe late teens, early 20s. She was living in her car. And first of all, it's so dangerous, especially for a woman alone.
Especially for a woman, yes.
But I didn't know it was illegal. I mean, I would think it'd be challenging finding a place where you felt safe, but now it's illegal if the police drive by and find you sleeping in your car?
So there had been a 36-year-old ordinance from 1983 that existed in the city of San Diego that prohibited somebody from putting trash bins outside of their house. The Ninth Circuit had found that certain similar laws that were being used to ticket the homeless were found cruel and unusual punishment in the absence of any place to go. So this ordinance was recently reinstated where an individual is not allowed to sleep in their vehicle or look like they're in violation of vehicle habitation if they have food, water,
umbrella. Do you help them? Do you go to court with them, or what do they have to do?
The system is a very long, laborious process, so most individuals, one, don't even know this law exists, two, don't know what to do, and three, most attorneys don't handle these types of tickets. So it's very much our team that has a legal assistance program, and we are very much burdened with trying to go to homeless court to fight these tickets. What inevitably happens is that a person gets a ticket, they might not have a dime in their pocket, and they somehow have to go to Kearny Mesa to appear.
Oh, of course.
And then they have to appear several more times, and if they forget to appear, they get $300 civil assessments or another $300 civil assessment. So then it just perpetuates this vicious cycle where if somebody does not pay, then they end up getting interest and possibly can get liens against their vehicle. So it becomes a very nonsensical system.
Horrible. And how do they get out of that?
It really will take the community to prioritize that. We believe that, there's about 5,000 individuals who are unsheltered. We can and want to be able to assist, and that there are the resources. We just need to be able to collaborate together and come up with a sustainable solution.
And do we need laws to change? I mean, what do you think is really the core of how this gets better?
Absolutely. There's so many challenges and barriers that prevent our clients from seeking employment or housing or resources. And I'll give you an example. We had one woman who had a recent most vulnerable.
Right. Who are trying to make their lives better, who are trying to improve their circumstances. So, Emily, is there one last thing that you really want people to know about Think Dignity, in addition to If you're just joining us, please think about volunteering for this organization and donating funds, because they are making life better, not just for the homeless, but for all of us. Because if these people are taken care of, they don't have to resort to crime. They can be clean so they can go apply for a job and have a better life. So is there one last thing you would like to say?
Yeah, all of us are born with inherent dignity. So really would love the audience just to remember and think about dignity. And by respecting and valuing all of our community members, we really believe and provide hope and opportunity to our unsheltered neighbors. We have an incredible opportunity where we're hosting a visit from the United Nations Lead on Housing and Homelessness in a couple weeks.
Oh, how fabulous. And again, could you give the website address and the phone number for people who are interested in helping or learning more?
So the website is www.thinkdignity.org. Again, that's thinkdignity.org. The phone number is 619-537-8736. And really, if you have any interest, we greatly value your support and all your efforts.
And thank you, Emily, for you and all your efforts and all the efforts of everyone on staff with Think Dignity. I am delighted that you were able to be here with me today.
We are as well. We have a really great team, and so and thank you very much.
Thank you. And we'll be right back after this message.
We'll be right back with more Change It Up with Paula Shaw on AM 1170, The Answer.
Jack Gutman survived World War II and then returned home to the hardest fight of his life with PTSD and alcoholism. Now at age 93, he's a businessman and comedian, sharing his message of recovery and hope in his new book, One Veteran's Journey to Heal the Wounds of War, helping our heroes and anyone who has experienced PTSD find happiness again. Get Jack Gutman's new book, One Veteran's Journey to Heal the Wounds of War, at Amazon.com. Or to order a signed copy, call 714-525-4954.
For those looking to improve their lives, there's nobody better to turn to than Paula Shaw. Paula helps people regain successful lives by identifying and eliminating self-sabotaging behavior using a multitude of mind-body techniques to identify and resolve their core issues. Working with a wide variety of healing modalities, she provides her clients with the most effective process for their specific needs. To book a session with Paula, call 858-480-9234. That's 858-480-9234.
Welcome back to Change It Up. Now here's your host, Paula Shaw.
Welcome back to Change It Up Radio, and we are delighted that we're being brought to you today by LifeWave, leaders in the field of activating your own stem cells through a tiny little patch that is the container for an amazing technology. So learn more about LifeWave. These little patches are changing lives all over the world. And speaking of all over the world, we are about to go into our segment that I like to call Where in the Country is Carson? And for those of you who haven't joined us in the past, Carson Caldwell is a young man who is riding a bicycle across the United States, barefoot, by the way, in order to raise money for the starving children in Yemen. For those of you who are watching on Facebook, this is Carson right here, and that is his vehicle. And we interviewed him about this journey a couple of shows back, and now he has been gracious enough to check in with us every week and let us know where in the country is Carson. So welcome, Carson. How are you?
Thank you, Paula. I'm doing very well. I'm actually in western Kentucky, probably about 80 or 90 miles southwest of Louisville. I'm headed to a small town called Marion. And, I've been having an incredible time in Kentucky. It's been full of hills, and I've been chased by dogs a lot. So it's been quite an adventure in Kentucky.
So do we have more dogs in Kentucky, or are there more just running around?
Yeah, strangely enough, it seems like there's more dogs, and they're also like not really enclosed. So they're also pretty aggressive or playful. I don't really know which one it is, but they just seem to. I've been chased by dogs at least 20 to 30 times in the 9 days that I've been in Kentucky.
Oh my
It's pretty crazy.
goodness! And that hadn't happened to you on that level before, huh?
No, absolutely not. Not one dog chased me in Virginia, but many dogs have chased me in Kentucky.
Well, apparently in Virginia, the dogs have their southern manners down a little better than the Kentucky dogs. We'll have to have them work on that. So tell me, how are you? First of all, how's the weather? What kind of temperatures are you riding in?
It's pretty warm, I'd say, in the upper 70s and 80s. It's gotten into the mid 90s, but at night it's extremely nice, like low 70s, high 60s.
Oh,
and there's a lot less light pollution out here, so I can probably see like 3 or 4 times as many stars as I normally do, which is just incredible to see.
Now, where are you sleeping, Carson?
Well, luckily there's like a lot of church hostels and fire departments along the Transamerica Trail. So I've been using those for lodging, and a lot of cyclists use those because it's like right off the trail, and people really are kind of inclined to be hospitable out here just because there's not too much around, like not many other types of options. So I've been very lucky with hostels and fire departments along the way.
Fire departments open their quarters to you. That's lovely. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I remember in our first interview, you mentioned that there is an organization that you're working with, not Batumal, but the ones who chart the course, so to speak, for cyclists who are interested in doing this kind of thing. And what organization is that for anybody else who might like to take on this kind of a journey?
Yeah, they're called Adventure Cycling, and they basically specialize in making cross-country bicycle maps and routes with like very detailed maps explaining where you can stop for food or camp or find a hotel, etc., things like that.
That's probably invaluable, huh? Because I mean, if you just set out on a trip like this and had no idea what was ahead, that would actually not even be safe, right?
Yeah, I agree. It really it's an extremely useful resource to have those maps, and if I wasn't using them, it would be a lot. I would say a lot more dangerous.
Oh yes, I would think so. And so, for any of our listeners who haven't heard you before, Carson, could you just briefly tell them what your mission is and who you're trying to help?
Sure. Well, I'm raising awareness for the humanitarian crisis in Yemen, where roughly 8 million people are on the verge of starvation. And in the last 3 years, about 85,000 children under the age of 5 have starved to death. And so when I heard about this, what was happening in Yemen, it really affected me, and I felt a desire to try to contribute in some way to help. And so I did some research, and I found out about Baitul Mal, which is a charity doing a lot of really great work in Yemen today. And so I contacted them and told them that I'd like to do a cross-country bike ride in an effort to raise awareness and money to help hopefully feed people in Yemen.
And how is that going? Are the funds coming in? Is this working the way you hoped it would so far?
Yeah, it's gotten off to a great start.
Good.
I think I've raised over roughly $2,500 so far. But it's also just kind of getting started. There's a lot more time to help raise awareness, and I hopefully think that even after the trip is over, I'd like to continue to try to help. And I think that the story, hopefully, of what I'm doing will hopefully continue to work to raise awareness. And that's my goal. But it's been slow but steady, and I'm just grateful, honestly, for every single dollar that's raised, just because money goes a long way in Yemen. For instance, $1 can feed an entire family for one meal. So basically, $1 equals a meal. in Yemen, and that means a lot to me.
That's huge. And so I really want to stress to our listeners, even if your funds are tight, $10 would give 10 meals to families. So think about that. There's no contribution that's too small. Carson's telling us $1 will help. So maybe even if there are school teachers listening, you might want to encourage the children to contribute $1 each and know that they're giving a meal to a family. I think there's so many directions that this can go, Carson. There's so many people out there, churches and clubs and all sorts of organizations that could contribute, knowing that, that every cent that is contributed can do so much. And I believe in our first interview, Carson, you mentioned that it's upwards of the high 80s or in the 90 percentile of how much of the money actually goes to the country, correct?
Yeah, that's right. It's an extremely impressive statistic considering, much larger charities. You'd be lucky if 50% goes to the cause that you'd like it to. So, yeah, that's another reason why I chose this specific charity, is just because they're extremely efficient with what they're doing. And so I really respect that.
And so how do people contact them, or what do they do if they feel called to want to donate some money and help?
The place to go is bikeforyemen.org, and that's bike, the number 4, Yemen.org. And you can also look up the campaign on Facebook under hashtag Bike for Yemen, which is bike, the number 4, Yemen.
Okay, perfect. So they can go on Facebook. They can go to bikeforyemen.org. And, you would be very interested in knowing, Carson, my other guest on the show today is a gal named Emily Howe, who's an attorney. But rather than having a big fancy practice and making millions of dollars and living a cushy life herself, she is the executive director and the head attorney for an organization called Think Dignity. And they are providing services like portable showers and portable lockers and help in the courts and referrals and stuff to help homeless people have a dignified quality of life, or a more dignified quality of life. So I think you two should meet at some point, because you obviously are led by the same beautiful heart. And I'm hoping that the example that both of you are setting on this show today will lead other people to either doing some kind of work like that to help a population in need, or to donate to those who already have those organizations in place. So, Carson, yeah. I love thinking about you every week, and I do. I always think about where you are, and I know you said last week the Blue Mountains were so beautiful. But in our last minute here of the interview, is there a story, or is there a person or a group of people you met this week that you want to share about?
Yeah, definitely. I stayed at a young man's hand-built cabin in Kentucky, and he built it himself, and from the trees on his own property. And he was a fascinating individual, and he was extremely hospitable and kind. And there's a lot I can say about that experience, but basically there was really nothing like being in a hand-built cabin in a secluded area, surrounded by trees. It was just amazing.
Oh, it sounds beautiful. And are you still wearing that X39 stem cell patch?
Yep. Yeah, every night. Yeah, it's I put it basically like on my inner quad, and it helps a lot with recovery. And I feel fresh every morning after I wear the X39.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I was just sharing about you with a group of people the other day, talking about the X39 and how I had too used it when I hurt my knee and when I broke my toe. And so it has all kinds of amazing value. And I called it my favorite little first aid kit. So I'm especially glad that you've got it with you, Carson, to help make your journey a little easier. And can we count on hearing from you next week? And when we ask the question, where in the country is Carson?
Oh yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to tune in with you again.
Okay, fabulous. Thank you so much, Carson. It was so great to hear from you. And I want to say thank you to all of my listeners. Thanks for listening to this show today. We're talking to two very important people who are doing very important work. So let's support them. Hit those donate buttons. Look at the website so you can see the beautiful work that's going on. And thank you for listening to our show. You'll hear us every Sunday night at 9 o'clock here on AM 1170 and FM 96.1. We're on every major podcast platform, including iHeartRadio and Blog Talk Radio. Check us out on Change It Up Radio Facebook page, Change It Up Radio Instagram, and changeitupradio.com. And if you want to know more about me or my work, that's paulashaw.com. So until next week, take good care of yourselves, and let's all remember to be grateful. All right, bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Change It Up with life transitions expert, speaker, and best-selling author, Paula Shaw. Join the Change It Up movement with Paula Shaw as we explore topics that inspire, welcome change, and create a new kind of conversation. To learn more about Paula, how to be a guest on the show, and sponsorship opportunities, visit changeitupradio.com. Whether you're feeling happy, sad, mad, or glad, it never hurts to change it up.
Can I talk to my Facebook people now? All right. Facebook live stream viewers, thank you for being with us. Oh, amazing people, amazing show. Emily Howe, thank you so much.